Hi everyone, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome to Healing Bee. This is episode 19 and this is going to be a very special episode. So the topic for today is the dark side of the Twinflame Journey. And I like this topic and it's quite fascinating because perhaps this is my perception, and again, please remind yourself that this is how I perceive things due to my journey and my own process into awakening. But I find this topic quite fascinating, and it's also, like I was saying, it feels to me that it's kind of blown up in the past years, and perhaps that's because I am in the twin flame journey. But it seems like there's this thing out there that people are like, who's my twin? And I want my twin to know, like, myself and all these kinds of things. So it's quite an epic journey. Okay, but before we begin into that, let's open sacred space, because I'm feeling this, because of the collective energy that is being created. Let's open sacred space for this topic to fully come out and express itself. So I invite you to close your eyes, lengthen your spine, relax the muscles of the belly, relax the muscles of the face, and also relax your diaphragm. Let's tune in to the heartbeat. Allow the melody of the heart to fully expand throughout your being. So feel it on your shoulders, on your arms, on your fingertips, on your neck, on your forehead, on your face, on your belly, on your hips, on your legs, on your toes. And allow the flow of energy to be one of divine and unconditional love for yourself and others, especially for yourself. Begin to expand this beautiful energy in the room that you're in the house or the space that you're in, the city and the country and the world and the universe. Knowing that every time you send it all the way out, the universe sends it back to you, multiplied. And from the heart space, let's begin to tune into each other. So allowing this sacred space to open up for support, for guidance, without any judgments. Just see if we can open up the minds and the hearts a little bit more today. And perhaps if there are any messages that come through for any of you, we're opening up the space for it to be. Knowing that in this beautiful bubble, in this portal that I like to call it, we're being fully protected and guided by an angelic team, by high vibrational beings, by the Creator, by Mother Earth. And anything that does no longer serve us can release through the root chakra down to Mother Earth. And she can transform that energy and send it back to us. Beautiful. And then you can blink your eyes open. Much better. So, the twin flame journey. I find this topic very fascinating, and the reason why I do is because of my own journey. And because we can get so caught up into something that we desire so much. But are we desiring that from the space of luck? Or are we truly desiring that from the space of unconditional love? The unconditional love that comes from unconditional love to the self, not to somebody else. So let's remember that love starts with us, starts with accepting ourselves unconditionally. Even if at times it's very hard for you to look at the mirror and see your own reflection, but working through that. Because there's nobody, even if you actually have like a physical twin, you might look the same, but you are not your twin. And you're both experiencing different things that allows your organism to create a reality based on your experiences and also a reality based on what you think is real. And all these beliefs that you have taken on, whether it was by your conscious choice or through growing up with your family, or even perhaps from a different lifetime. But of course, as human beings, we like that being attached to someone. And I'm not referring this like like totally attached. I'm referring to having that special connection. The special connection that makes you feel that you're it, that you're unique, that somebody gets you, that perhaps you can't just look into their eyes and know. You don't have to speak. It's like, you understand. And it's a beautiful thing. It's as humans, we like that connection. We like being able to share our passions with not just a specific person as, your partner, but with friends, with family, with the world. And that's why social media is great. You can connect with a lot of people that you couldn't have had before. So it feels like in this new realm, spaces are being open to truly find the one. And now that consciousness is increasing in the planets, in ourselves, the need of finding the one is increasing as well. And this can be a very tricky thing. And let me explain why. So if you find yourself wanting that, like there's the longing of your soul that wants to find this one person that everybody's talking about. So like, whoa, it's literally my other half. How freaking cool is that? Where is this person? And you get so caught up into finding this one person, you start to completely miss your own life. Because you get obsessed, you get obsessed. And there's so many things that you can read online nowadays about the Twinflame Journey. And I know specifically there is this one site called Twinflames 1111. I've been there. The girl specifically says, don't get so caught up in these things because your journey is going to be so different than anybody else. And it's true. It's absolutely true. It might be some kind of similarities, but it's your own reality. It's like this own entity that you're creating as a life organism. So there is this dark side of the twin flame journey because we can get caught up into who is him or her and wanting that connection so strong that we lose ourselves in the process. And why am I referring to losing yourself? Because you begin to create or imagine this reality, and let's remember that your imagination does have effect on the manifestation process. So you begin to imagine upon reading so many things, so how you're going to meet your twin, or who is your twin, or you find this person that you have this very deep connection with, and you automatically go like, oh, she's my twin, or he's my twin. So then you start to create these things in your own mind that cloud the actual truth of who your twin is. And then because you're so caught up into this reality that you have been creating, because you have been longing for this to come to you, then you're pushing your own twin away. And why are you pushing your own twin away? Because you're pushing your own self away by not allowing life to actually flow and guide you through your own process of awakening. See, the thing about the twin flame journey, that it has nothing to do with the other person that is your twin. The twin flame journey is actually the journey to yourself, just like yoga, you know? The Bhagavad Gita says the yoga is the journey of the self, through the self, to the self. And that is exactly what a twin flame journey is. However, it's being mirrored to you with another person. That this person in higher realms of consciousness, it is you. It is your counterpart. Your counterpart that is not separate from you in higher levels of consciousness. So it's not that you do the work to find your twin. You do the work because of you. So when this concept actually gets understood by your own system, it becomes a little easier, you know? It becomes a little easier because you stop getting caught up into like, oh, how am I going to find this person? I really want to find this person, because then you go into the space of like, I want to find me. Who am I? What am I? And then you begin to open this beautiful portal to a space where time doesn't exist, and where you can actually have, even if it's a tiny little glimpse of your truth, in the unconditional love, feeling the unconditional love for yourself and for existence itself, which is not even separate. You know, it's the same kind of unconditional love that in a sense goes beyond what humans actually believe love is. But the other thing that some people, you know, don't really understand about it is because they're so excited. You know, it's like, oh, where's my twin? Where's our twin? Is this person my twin? And finally, when they find the person, you know, it's not all butterflies and rainbows and unicorns and maybe even cute little elephants. It really isn't. And let me explain to you why. As I was saying, that just like yoga is the journey of the self, through the self, to the self. When you are in your own process, things come up. You know, let's forget your counterpart for a second. When you are going through some things, through some kind of release, many things come up to the surface. And if you're very aware of it, you can ease it up a little bit. But some things will hurt. You know, if you had a traumatic experience in childhood and it's coming up to the surface, the trauma must be released and it will be felt. Perhaps not as intense as it was when you went through it, but it will be felt deeply because it needs to be released, not only from the physical body, but from all the energetic bodies. And the root of the emotional trauma is also coming out. So of course, it will hurt, you know, and that's it's okay, but it will be a beautiful kind of hurt, because then after that becomes a sense of freedom, you know? There's this beautiful freedom that comes after the pain, let's say. And it's the same thing as my Reiki teachers will tell us all the time, that everything is a mirror of you. You know, like if you're talking to someone and somebody's triggering you, it has nothing to do with the person, but what in your organism has been poked at by something that they said in order for you to feel that kind of antsy or mad or anger or whatever. So again, if we have that kind of awareness of to like, what is coming up? And sitting with it, you can tune in into what that is and learn from it in a more smooth way and in a way that it will not really hurt as much. So, taking that, now here comes your counterpart, and then you are in a relationship with your twin, and what is said, the union, right? And it doesn't mean that when you become in union with your twin that you both have cleared everything. Who knows, maybe there's a good chance that actually happened, but there's also a very good chance that you still have shit inside and your twin also has shit inside, and you're working through that together and separate at the same time. So, like I was saying at the beginning, your twin is the most perfect mirror of yourself that could ever exist, in my experience. In my experience, my twin is literally just the perfect mirror. I remember when we were doing this ayahuasca retreat, and he was having some kind of pain in one of his sides, which I believe it was the right side. And the specific point that I had on my left. And I just remember thinking like, whoa, you're actually the absolutely perfect mirror. Because if I was sitting or facing in front of him, my left side would go straight into his right side. And this is exactly the point. And this is what, it blew me away, because I was just thinking of like, like energetics, it's only about energetics, but could it be just energetics, or could be more than that? The thing is, as I was saying, is your perfect mirror. And it will mirror you everything you still need to work on. Everything. And it will totally poke the deepest emotional traumas and emotional wounds that you've had for years, that you perhaps brought into this lifetime from others. And it can be very subtle, or it can be like, boom. And it takes a lot of work, not to release that anger of trigger upon your twin. A lot of work, a lot of self-awareness. But the beautiful thing is that you're both working together through this. Because I have this thing on my shoulder. Because you're both aware. Like when Twinflame Journey union happens, is because you're both ready to take the bigger step into your own consciousness and into your own path of self-awareness. The path of yoga, the path to yourself. And because this beautiful being loves you so deeply unconditionally, he will put himself right in front of you to show that to you. Whether it triggers the living crap out of you or not. Whether you want to accept that whatever is being triggered is for your own growth or not. Because trust me, at times it's not very easy at all when an emotional wound gets triggered so deeply. And I had this, and let me just share a little bit so you kind of can get the grasp of what I'm talking about, if you're not really getting it. But perhaps you are, and that's dope. That's so dope. A couple days ago, I was super duper triggered. And it was more being hurt, okay? It was more being hurt because a little bit of a background of me, if you don't know me. I was born in Lima, Peru, and my family is very Hispanic. Very Hispanic, as in very touchy, very huggy, very kissy, and that's how I grew up. So for me, in a sense, that was what love is, how I perceive love, because that's how I've seen it my entire life. So like you love someone, you hug them, you kiss them, you hold hands, you do all this like touchy things, which might not be the same for somebody else, because let's remember, perception is different. It changes from person to person and from all the experiences that you had in your life, right? For my twin, it's different because he grew up in a different family, which I completely adore. And I was able to spend the holidays with him and truly connect with his parents and his family and see and understand, in a sense, how his organism works by truly connecting with his family. Like, I'm assuming he gets me a little bit more because he knows my family. So his family is not Hispanic, so it's not like very touchy and stuff, which I see, like my mind understands that, and my mind knows to be to have more patience in a sense, that he's learning to use that kind of expression with me because he knows that's how I perceive love. And I see the work that he does, doggy. I see the work that he does, and it's quite impressive, very, very impressive. However, I was into the space of like, my emotional body was like, why is this person not holding my hand? Why is he not hugging me? Meanwhile, my mind is like, you know why. You absolutely know why. But the thing was that it wasn't just my emotional body. The fact of not being touched in that sense was making me feel unworthy. His name is Zeus. Like the god Zeus, he likes to bark at times. So, because that's how I felt love all my life, So if you weren't touching me, if you weren't holding my hands, then I felt that there was something wrong with me and that you did not like me and I wasn't worthy of your love. And I went into a space of like, what is wrong with me? Like, what, like, does he not love me? Or like, if there's something going on in my physicality that like he's not agreeing with. So this is a completely spin that my emotional body took, even though my mind understood, because we had this conversation multiple times. But the not holding hand took my being and my system into one of the deepest hurts that I've had as a childhood, as a child throughout growing up. Not feeling worthy, not feeling good enough, not feeling that I looked good enough, just by not touching my hand. So, this is a big thing, this is a big thing because it's not that I haven't been working on these things consciously for the past 10 years or more. I've been working on that a lot. But just that little thing that he wasn't doing, and he does it, but not like as often as my body craved, took me into that space for it to be released, you know, and I couldn't be around him because I know when I'm in that space, I just want to be alone and I want to process my own thoughts and my own feelings, because sometimes when I'm not very aware of things and I allow my emotional wounds to come out and the ego to play a little bit of its game, I can lash onto him and I kind of start to say things that I don't mean to say. It's just that my system felt hurt and it just wants to let you know, dude, I feel so fucking hurt, okay? But there's a way of speaking, you know, there's a way of speaking. So of course I had to calm myself down and understand from literally my mind and from my emotional body. And the years that I thought the way I perceived love was the only specific way. So this is a beautiful thing because I gave myself the space to understand what was happening. And I'm very grateful that I can do so. You know, perhaps others don't have the capability yet to tune in into the bodies and allow them to speak and have this conversation to actually understand what is going on from that perspective of that specific body, which in this case, it was my emotional body and the feelings that I had as a kid for so long. Now, the thing about this that it's he opened up this really big space for me to tune in into something, and I'm going to call it the root of a really deep emotional wound that I've had, in order for me to let it go and release it with love. And this is beyond beautiful. Like, for me, this is how unconditional love works. Whether I'm quite certain that his system was aware of this was happening, but like whether him and his actual perception at that moment in time knew about it or not, he created a space for me to be hurt and triggered by this tiny little thing that in reality doesn't even matter. To go into that, to observe it, to speak, to allow my system to speak, and then to let it go. So now this whole process, if somebody is not tuned in into that kind of way of, in a sense, dealing with some kind of triggers or deep hurts, it will be way more intense, right? Like, it could have easily gone the other direction, like, why the fuck are you not holding my hand? Why do you not like me? Or why are you not loving me like I want you to love me? So it will create this like among twins, and then of course there will be this separation process, you know, because they're not allowing themselves to have that space to process things they're going through. And at the same time, understanding that the way I perceive something is not the way like he might perceive something or like you might perceive something, right? So how this process ended, which it blew my own organism, I like to say, is that I was writing a blog specifically about perceiving love. And my mind began to have a conversation with my emotional body. And of course, my emotional body, it was the like 12-year-old or 11-year-old that had been like picked on since a very young age for being fat, for thinking outside the box, or not thinking like other ones wanted them to think, for just being different, you know? And the mind going into like, dude, you know exactly what's going on. So why are you acting this way? And this conversation evolved into, okay, so that's how you perceive love because of the way you grew up. How about now you create something with your partner, this new beautiful entity of what the both of you see as love. So it was such a beautiful end to all that trigger, because that it was probably half of my morning, like dealing with this in my mind and my heart and my emotional body, like in literally all my system, that I was trying to allow the process to unfold, but it was so much. So do you see what I mean? That it's not all butterflies and rainbows. Like it is, if you look from the point of view as in like you will be releasing so much and you will be triggered so much to the core for you to let go of all these codes and like limited belief systems, and even to release in a sense a definition of something and create your own definition based on your own experiences. So it is beautiful, and it's all like, whoa, yay, when we look from that perspective. But when we look from the perspective of, let's say, someone that is not ready to face or doesn't believe that it's ready to face really deep wounds, then it could end up in a different space that, as a twin, of course, you don't want to be in that space, because when it hurts, you know? When you're mad at your twin, it really does hurt. Or when you see them, him or her, going through something so intense and you know that there's absolutely, in a sense, nothing you can do because it's their own processing, you must let that unfold. You feel more in a way that you have felt with a previous partner or partners that were not your twin. And again, it's even though it's such a beautiful connection and something magical, truly magical, it takes a lot to work through something like that consciously with your twin, to understand that you need space sometime, and at times you can work things together, or at times you can remove in a healthy way and go to your spot to process things and then talk about it. But like I was saying, it takes a lot of self-awareness to do that kind of thing. And so it's not all about like, how do I find this magical person, and like this magical person is just gonna make all my shit go away. It will bring up all your shit for it to go away. But then it will just be on your face all the time, which I see it as such a beautiful thing, because being in this awareness journey and my awakening process, that I love doing these kinds of things. It doesn't mean that it's easy at all, but it's what I do. It's what I guide others to do. So now think about, if you haven't met your twin yet, right? Like one of my beautiful sisters in Peru says, like, be careful what you wish for. Because if you truly want, your twin and have this connection with your twin, you will have it. You will have it, definitely. But it will stir up a lot of things, a lot of things, which again is beautiful, But remember, it's The Twinflame Journey, like I said, like I've been saying, it's nothing to do with this other person. It's everything to do with you and your own path of consciousness, your own path of awakening, your own path of releasing things that were so deep in your system that you saw them as reality. You know, it will turn your life in different directions. Beautiful, beautiful directions if you allow it to. But you must be patient. You must be patient, and you must remember to have compassion, not only for yourself, but also for your twin. And give them the space whenever they need the space. Offer the space whenever they need a space to be offered. But again, keep in mind, it's you. It's all about you. It's all about you. Remember, just like yoga, the journey of the self, through the self, to the self. Through the other self that is in another physical body. That is you. That is you. It's truly an awesome path. I love it. So let's do a little bit of channeling, shall we? I invite you again to close your eyes, if you will. Since we have already created this beautiful sacred space, we'll tune in back into the heart. Tune in back into the heart. And imagine your heart like a beautiful box. You can put different kind of colors or different kinds of elements into this box if you would like. And see this box closed first. Begin to approach it cautiously, but with arms wide open. Mairaka sarati apake narakia makata saratike pasaralanare katsaratike namakasaka. And now at your own time, begin to open this box. Moira kasarati arakatapa kesarani maira tapaka saratike saranina namakata kasarakesi. And you find in this box a beautiful key. A beautiful, beautiful key. The shining golden light. Moira katake saratike makarateke saranina saranamakatesi. Begin to grab this key. Moira kataka saranikara namakara kata saratipa kara namasanaka. The moment you grab this key, you feel the deepest sense of ease. Moira kataka, maira kataka saratipa rakanamara kataka saratika saranamaka. And now you're teleported right in front of this door. Moira katake saranira namarakatake saraneke saranina makasa. And you can see a lot of this beautiful white light shining through it. Moira namarakatake sarataki sanamaka. And there's this sense of excitement in your entire being. Moira kataka saratike namarakatake saratipaka nasanaki nama. And you take the step forward, walking towards this door. Moira taka irakataka saratipa kesaranama irakataka sarati kesaranamaka. Begin to place the key into the door. Oira satapa keranira nama kesarane kesarani. And unlock it. Moira kasarataki satapa keranama kesarati kesarana. You know that the moment you open this door, everything that you have been waiting for will be right there. Moi sareta ke siranare katake sarani saratapa kasaretike sana. Now the door is fully open. Moira sara saratapa saratipa kanamaka. And then one staring right in front of you, Moira saira kata kite kasane makasa. It's you. Moi sore takasara tike namare katakasina. And you realize that's what you have been searching for. Moi satipa kasara ne kasara nirana makatakasa. You take a step forward, at the same time the self staring right in front of you takes a step towards you. Moi saratapa kesara nirana bakasarati ke pasaranama kana kese. And then you walk straight to it. And it walks straight to you. Moi saratapa kesaranina makasarana. In order for you to feel complete. Moi sarataka saratipa kesaranera makasita kata. And now you have created this beautiful golden light, this beautiful sense of unconditional love and acceptance for yourself. That you begin to start to float and to travel through the entire universe energetically, complete. Knowing that you are never broken. You are never missing anything. You have always been complete and perfect. And you root this in the deepest sense in your own organism. And you allow that to happen. 24/7. Until it's fully done. And of course, at any time you wish, you can always tell it to stop. Continue to feel the sense of completeness. Sense of the most beautiful unconditional love. Surrendering to who you are, to your path, to your beauty, to your strength, to your compassion. Knowing that you are indeed perfect. Knowing that you will continue to be perfect. Sakita pakate kasatne makira takasira rata. Allowing that feeling to penetrate fully in every cell. Giving ourselves permission to carry this feeling through our lives. And giving ourselves permission to fully be who we are. And to transform into what we're meant to transform. You might want to stay into this space, and that's completely fine. You can keep absorbing that energy and allow the high vibrational language, the light language, to continue to penetrate into your system. Or if you would like to come out of it, you might begin to invite some kind of movement on your fingertips, on your toes. Keeping the eyes closed for now. Perhaps even moving your neck side to side of the shoulders, taking some kind of stretch. Just any little movements that will help you come back fully into your physical body and the physical reality. Energy. And if you're in a space that is really bright at this moment, keeping the eyes closed, begin to rub the palms together, creating a lot of heat. Whenever you feel a lot of heat in between the palms, place it in front of your closed eyes and begin to inhale the heat through the eyes. And whenever you don't feel the heat any longer, slowly blink the eyes open and release the palms down. What a beautiful space we created. So, I hope you feel as relaxed as I do. If you need to rush out the door, just do it gently. If you have the time and the availability to actually just chill for a little bit, I totally recommend it. Do what you will, it's your life. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your presence, for listening. I would love to read some of your comments if you feel guided to write some kind of comments. That would be really lovely and very helpful. And aside from this, every Sunday I do a channeling on my Facebook page and my Instagram page at the same time to let go of the week and invite the new week with arms wide open and an open heart to continue to manifest the life of our dreams. Sometimes it comes to Monday and people are like, oh, Monday, why don't we change this perspective and be like, yay, Monday. How can I create this week and be like more beautiful than the last, in a sense, you know? Also, on Wednesdays, me and my friend Steph hold this awakening support group. It happens through Zoom. So if you're going through an awakening process and it's intense, we just open up this beautiful space to share what we're going through and support each other. You know, it's just all unconditional love. If that's something that you would like to experience, let me know. I can send you the link. And yeah, that's it. If you need any kind of support and guidance, I'm here for you. It's what I do, and I love what I do. Absolutely love what I do. So thank you so much. This has been very, very fun and eye-opening as well for me. And well, I will see you in the next version of the now. Many, many, many blessings.